Konnichiwa, Kawaii Critic here to review My Little Pony Season 6, Episode 11, Flutter, Brutter. So in this episode, we finally get to meet Fluttershy's entire family, including her brother, which is a character I had actually heard about somewhere in the middle of Season 5. So I was a bit spoiled on that, but they weren't really giving away what type of character he would be, so at least it led the options of what type of character he would be left open. So we see that Fluttershy's parents are even more soft-spoken than Fluttershy, and that her younger brother, Zephyr Breeze, is coming in to live with the parents as he's failed to accomplish his dream of being a main, stylist. So he's gonna be lazy and just let his parents do the work, but Fluttershy is using what she has learned to stand her ground. I mean, she gets a bit mad and flies down and gets that advice from Applejack to, well, stand her ground. And it is interesting to see her almost get really close to breaking down, but her character is much more grounded than that, seeking this opportunity and just not letting it take over her. Just breathing in and breathing out and just letting it go. So we have that. And Zephyr just being lazy. So Fluttershy decides that he's gonna have to move out. So Zephyr does the next best thing in his case, and that's move in with her. And in this episode, we also see him trying to get the moves on Rainbow Dash. And as far as I'm concerned, that ship, nope, I'm not buying it. Not for a second. Especially with the expressions that Rainbow Dash gives off in this episode. She doesn't want anything to do with that, and in order for me to ship somebody, I have to see the chemistry, and I just see none of it going on there. So that ship is anti-bueno. Anyways, we see that Fluttershy is going to help him get a job because he's clearly not going to do it himself. So they go to Rarity, and as soon as he's left alone with Opal, they return to see that they've crossed the mast, and Opal does her best Rainbow Dash impersonation. So we have that going on, and then we proceed to go on to the next slide here, where they go to work for Twilight Sparkle, and Spike gets Tom Sawyer here. For those who don't know who Tom Sawyer is, he's in the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He tricks others into doing his work, and he just sort of lazily goes about doing stuff. So very, I got that feeling and vibe from him. And that slide you saw next, because oops, I made a mistake, was when he goes to work for Rainbow Dash and he gets immediately zapped. Pretty good joke there. And I got the impersonation that he kind of looked like KJ Maeda from Samurai Warriors. And there is another reference that I made that I'm not sure any other caught on to, and that's the reference for whenever he says the word siesta. I don't know if that was supposed to be a reference to something, but I got the sensation of a reference to Hare and Gu, their teacher, Lazy Senpai, who just, as soon as class starts, he immediately says, siesta, and then he goes to sleep. So, I don't know if that reference was intentional or not, but that's the vibe I got from it. Pretty funny stuff there. And then Fluttershy is saying, I'm not gonna give up on you, and then he tries to do his Castaway reference there at the end, or closer to the end, where he's talking to his bull and trying to get a fire started and not really doing good at any of these things. But anyways, I'm pretty sure there's different references you can take out of that because I'm pretty sure other shows and movies have done that as well. So there's that. And Fluttershy, of course, keeping her encouragement. And when I think of Zephyr Breeze, I think of myself and the fact and the way that I handle situations. I find myself to tend to be the opposite of what Zephyr Breeze is. Is I tend to be someone that focuses on something for probably even longer than I probably should. Uh, I've been writing a thing for like several years, and only to see that crumble, it's heartbreaking. And I'd rather not be in a place where I'm just not doing something. I'd rather just find myself at least doing something. So making YouTube videos is something I want to fight for. It's not something I want to give up on, and it's tough. It's a tough gig, but yeah, this episode, it really hits home in a different way for me as I get to reflect on what I do. And when an episode does that, I definitely agree that it's an episode worth looking at and saying that's how it connects to what I do. Uh, and then you get him finally. You get this musical at the end where uh, Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash are saying, "Don't give up. Try your best. Try putting effort in." And he still wants to give up a bit, but then he gets pushed back into it enough where he's gonna not give up and finish the job and finally get it to be where it needs to be. So he finishes his thing and then he graduates. So I assume that some time had passed. Otherwise, that scene transition is a bit weird. But other than that, this episode was really great. More so on the lesson. The comedy here was pretty good. But I definitely appreciate this type of storytelling as well, or message as well. So yeah. With that being said, I believe that covers everything in this episode. So I'm Kawaii Critic, and remember, guys, to keep it kawaii. You've received a message? Oh, well, this is unprofessional. I guess I'll just read it since that popped up on this thing that I totally don't know about. Whatever. Let's see what this says. Dear Kawaii Critic, we have discovered you have a brother? Nani? I I have a brother? I had no idea. Uh I gotta sit and think about stuff. So yeah, keep it kawaii.